How about it? Kristen Gillespie, the head coach at Illinois State. Coach Gillespie, in your 8th year. Congrats on that new contract, by the way. Way to go. Good
Thank
stuff.
You. Thank you. I got a great staff, great group of young women.
I can't believe it's 8 years that you've been at Illinois State. It just seems like you have built a culture that has been very successful, that has produced not just wins, but fine young women that you've been able to put out into the world. How's it going?
It's going great. This is the time of year when, the optimism is in the air. You're getting back in the swing of things. We had a great 7 weeks of summer. We're now in our 2nd week of just getting going. And I just love this team. And, I think the longer you coach, you have a feeling when you have something special, brewing, and you always want to have that feeling. And for some reason, some years you're missing a little something here or there, but I tell you what, the feeling in our gym is something that it's really unique. And I'm not sure we have had this at this level since we've been here. And it's just, as a coach, being around these 14 young women, it's just, you get excited every day. And I don't know, I love what we have going on and try not to screw it up too much, but I don't know, there's something brewing down here in Normal.
Well, it's a great vision by you and your staff, right? I mean, the culture and the identity of someone's program has to be worked on every day. And even though with a revolving roster each year because of the landscape of college basketball, you've always figured out a way to find someone that might have been a little diamond in the rough. That's hard to do in today's climate. Tell us about that one of or two or the 8 new players that you have on your roster that you're most excited about.
Yeah, we do. We have a lot of new faces, and it's going to be tough just to point out one because I believe this is our most talented team with our depth this year. It's really interesting. And, I know Elise is a name you're going to hear a lot. And I know Maya and Shannon both have spoken about her. She's different. We have had a lot of luck of finding those lower level players. You think about Paige Robinson. Elise is just as good. And I'm just telling you that right now. She is different from Paige. We're not comparing her. She is the real deal. And she won't be under the radar very long. She is impacting our team in a lot of different ways. She's a 5th-year kid. And I love the mindset she has. I had the privilege of coaching at Division III level. It is a different mindset, and she's bringing that mindset to our team of just from a gratitude piece of everything that we have. I love that. She's gritty. She's tough. And I tell you what, she's pushing our pace at a different level. We're playing a little different this year. We're going to try to, we can't just play in that half court. I thought last year we got stuck a little bit. So we're playing a lot quicker. And she's kind of spearheading that for us. 2 other transfers that are going to make immediate impact. Addison Martin, Addie, tough as nails kid. She's the kid you want on your team. She's going to do all the dirty work. She runs the floor. She boxes out. She communicates. She's the type of player that you watch a mid-major and then they're upsetting someone. You have someone like that, Addie Martin, on your team. And then Nevaeh Thomas, who's familiar from the Valley. She was another all-freshman player along with Shannon from Evansville. She's good. And I don't even think she has any idea how good she can become, so it's exciting. Shannon is taking her game to another level. Maya, we got a great freshman class. I could be on here for an hour, and I know there's so many, and I feel bad because I'm not going to speak on some of our players, but they're all going to have huge impacts.
Oh, we're going to have plenty of time to talk about all those players as the season goes on. I think there's 2 things in common about having known you for so long and watching you grow as a coach with your team. There's 2 words that come to mind. You've always found winners, and you've always found kids that are grateful. That gratitude piece is a big thing, and it manifests itself in how you move the ball, how the details come into play. All those things are so important. How do you get those winners to also be somewhat selfless in a system where moving the ball and sharing the ball and finding the next best shooter or next best option is available?
I think our staff does an outstanding job of identifying, the proper human beings, first and foremost in the recruiting process. There's a ton of great players, but it's just like, we pride ourselves, when we're out recruiting, whether it's AAU or high school, watching these young people on the bench, watching them speak to their parents, speak to their coach, are they good teammates when they come out of the game, whether it's a bad call, because that's who you are. I'm a big believer is you learn a lot from someone when you watch them when they don't know you're watching them. Yeah, it's really easy to put on a good face and, when you're on a visit and all eyes are on you, but what does that look like when the coach isn't around, it's really important to us because we're really selective who we allow in that locker room because ultimately, one person can have a negative impact on everyone else's experience. In culture, it's changing. And I'm not saying we've always been perfect, but that's something our staff, last year, that was a big thing. We wanted to just take a deep dive in how can we be better? How can we serve our players better? And I think we have hit home runs of the 8 newcomers we have on our team. My gosh, just unbelievable human beings first and foremost and darn good players. But I think as you hear our players talk throughout the year, that's just we are sharing the ball at just a really different level. And I just think that sacrifice, it's not about one person because ultimately our goal is to win our league and get to the NCAA tournament. And that was made clear in the recruiting process. And I think every young person in our program, that's what it's about. And they want to do their little part in our puzzle.
Yeah, that's exciting. And you get everybody on the same page. Isn't that truly the essence of what teaching and coaching is supposed to be all about? I want to ask you about your non-conference schedule because I know you loaded up again. You're coming to the Gulf Coast Showcase, which will give you an opportunity for 3 high-level games. Talk a little bit about why you put the non-conference schedule together the way you did and how it will prepare you for the rigors of the Valley.
Yeah, it's interesting these days because with the portal, it's just, you used to be able to project a little bit easier, because we're doing our, you're always doing it in the fall for the following year and you're not really sure what your roster is going to look like. Scott Gillespie has done a marvelous job getting our schedule together. It's a good mix. We open up at Northwestern, we go to Marquette, we have St. Louis, we have Harvard. It's going to be really good. And what I like, we're going to see a little bit different styles of play. Northwestern, we're going to see zone because we know what lies ahead with, when we play Drake. And, if we're fortunate enough to win that first game, West Virginia, the press, we're going to see that against Missouri State. We try to mimic what we're going to see in our league, because that's the greatest opportunity, those 11 games, hopefully we'll have some success, but we've scheduled so that when, December 29th hits, whoever we play that first game for those next 2.5 months, we will be battle tested and seeing just about everything we'll face in the Valley.
Well, Coach Gillespie, I know you're excited about your team. We look forward to following your success. This is going to be a fun year again with another balanced league where anybody can win. It's going to be fun to watch. We wish you well and thank you for being on the preview show.
Thank you so much for having us.
As the Missouri Valley Conference preview show rolls on, we are lucky to have what is either the Chamber of Commerce leader of the Missouri Valley or the woman in charge of Social Security at Illinois State. I'm not really sure. She's been around for so long. Maya, so good to see you.
Good to see you.
I mean, I feel like we're buddies, right? Like I've been following you around. I've been watching you. You've been incredible for Kristen Gillespie, the head coach at Illinois State. This will be your 6th year on campus, and you're from Normal. That's why I tease about the Chamber of Commerce.
Yes,
why do you love being there so much?
I mean, I feel like a lot of people think it's because I'm from here, but truly, like when I went on all my visits and I visited Illinois State, I remember walking out of the loading dock with my dad, and I was just like, it's where I want to go. And it had nothing to do with being close to them or anything like that. I truly just loved the coaching staff. And
sure,
I kind of told myself I would just like have a feeling when I visited somewhere, and that was where I was going to go. And that's how I felt walking out of their offices. So I just committed and told them. And it really had nothing to do with, I mean, I love being here and I love being the townie, but it was all them, honestly. It was not like I wanted to be known as the townie or anything like that. I just trusted their vision. So, and I've loved it. That's why I've been here 6 years. So.
Coach Gillespie started recruiting you her first month on the job, and this was her first D1 head coaching job. She had been at D3, D2. How have you seen her change through the 8 years that she's been on campus?
We all have changed a lot, but I mean, she's just so like adaptive, I guess, if you'll say. I mean, every year, especially with like the transfer portal, we've kind of had, new players, and maybe we didn't have this skill set or we had to kind of change things. So she's been very like open to trying new offenses, new defenses. She's very like receptive to what we think, and I've really appreciated that she plays to our strengths, and it's not about like what she wants to do. She truly tries to get to know the team and the players and what our strengths and weaknesses are, and that's been something I've loved about playing here, is that it's not we do one thing and we do it one way. There's a method to why we do certain things, and she lets us have input, but at the same time, we trust what she says. So it's just been, I feel like, part of the coaching staff as well. So it's just been nice to kind of have a say in, everything that goes on. So I've loved it.
Well, you've been a 3-year starter in the backcourt. Every year your numbers get better. Your scoring goes up, your three-point percentage goes up, your assists go up. What do we expect to see out of you this year? Because you're an excellent free throw shooter as a closer as well.
Yeah, I'm kind of moving to the 2 spot a little bit as well as the point guard position. So hopefully I get to play a little bit more on the wing, get a little bit off ball movement, stuff like that. We have Elise is a really good point guard. She pushes the pace really well. So when we get out and run, hopefully we can have a couple dominant ball handlers. So trying to be more of a scoring position. I love to pass still, so that's not going to change. But look for my shot a little bit more and just play more ball screens in the offense and things like that. So maybe try to be a little bit more offensive minded this year, but we'll see.
All right. Well, Elise Knudsen, you brought her up. You mentioned her. She's a D3 player of the year. She's going to run some of the point and be part of what you're doing in the total scheme of things. What else can we look forward to seeing about the Redbirds this year? Like, break it down a little bit for us and kind of like 1 or 2 bullet points about a couple of players.
All right. Yeah, I mean, like we're talking about Elise, so me and my mom joke all the time. I don't know how she slipped through the cracks into D3. She is truly amazing. Like, rarely misses a 3-point shot. Like, one of the fastest people I've ever seen. Like, just really like smart. She can pass the ball really well. So I'm really excited to play. It's kind of new for me to play off the one a little bit, but I really like what I've seen from Elise so far, and it's been wonderful to play with somebody that skilled and talented. And then everybody else, like, this has been the most enjoyable team I've played on. Everybody is so bought in, and like it truly feels like a family. Like we all have a goal and we all work towards it, and it's been the most bought in team we've had, and we share all the same goals, and we want the same things. And I think everybody knows kind of what it takes to do that, and everybody's just moving along really well, and we're getting pretty advanced in what we're doing in practices because everybody's picking up things so well, and coming in extra, watching film. So it's just been a great team to play with so far.
The last thing for me, Maya, is because you've been around the league so much, you know how competitive the Missouri Valley is. Better than half the teams last year finished above 500 in league play, which really speaks to the parity inside the league. Yeah. What are you most looking forward to in your last trip around the Valley as somebody who's won the championship and played in the NCAA tournament before and has seen progression across the board for your time at Illinois State?
Yeah, I mean, obviously the goal is to go back to the tournament, win a couple games, maybe more.
Well, we're looking forward to watching you play in your final trip around the Valley. You've been such a great ambassador, not just for Illinois State, but for the Missouri Valley. Thank you, Maya, for being on the preview show.
Thank you so much.
Welcome to the preview show. One of the hottest stars on Illinois State's Redbird team, Shannon Dowell. Shannon, thank you. Great to see you.
It's great to see you, too.
Okay, so how are we going to build on that all freshman team performance from last season as you enter into your sophomore year?
Obviously, I played a lot as a freshman, so I feel like the coaches trust me more, so I'll have a bigger role on this team. So I just feel like that's just where I'm at right now.
I've known Coach Gillespie for a long time. So to earn her trust means to me, you've been in the gym, you've put in the time, you've worked on your skill set. Tell us some of the things that you've done in the gym to earn her trust.
Really just working on my shot the most, like trying to be a better outside shooter so I don't have to score all my points from the paint. That's the main thing I've been working on. Pull-up jump shots a lot. Left hand always can use some improvement. Those are the main things that I do when I'm in the gym.
Are you now going to be a 3-level scorer? Are we going to be able to change our scouting report about how we prepare to play you?
Yes, we're changing the scout.
Okay. So the weight room work is evident, plus 10 pounds. You can see it on your frame. How does that translate to basketball skill?
Honestly, I think I'm going to get more charges this year than I did before, just because I'm bigger. Just me personally. That's what I think. But no, like actually, I do see a difference like on the court. It's like I'm not getting knocked over. Like getting over ball screens is easier because I'm more solid. But I can definitely see a difference.
Is that mostly upper body strength, lower body strength, your core? I mean, like people talk about why strength and conditioning is so important, and you're going to be able to show us this season because of your elevated game. That's what I'm guessing I'm going to see out of you.
Yeah, that's pretty valid. I think it's more lower body strength though than upper body.
Okay. So does that mean that Coach Gillespie can move you around, put you in different spots, change who you guard, blow up ball screen actions, sprint the floor? I mean, what are we talking about?
You probably won't see me like posting anybody up too much, but other than that, I can move around a little bit, but won't do too much posting up.
Coach has been around the game a long time. She says you've made the biggest jump from freshman to sophomore year. Tell us what the jump has been like. Like, how much time have you made a commitment to getting better?
I feel like it's every day. Like, it's always something. It's always a new workout every day. The coaches really take time with me. Like Coach Drew, he like makes goals for me to like accomplish through like every part of the season. So like preseason, I got goals right now, then I'll get new goals for preseason, then I'll have new goals when the season starts. I just feel like it's always something to work towards, and I feel like they really take the time to make me a better player.
It's cliche to always say we're trying to get 1% better every day, but we really are all trying to get 1% better. What's your goals for today and into the next week and into the preseason?
Goals today will be getting through weights, last workout of the week. So that's the goal today. Going into preseason, have everything down to the point where I'm more reliable for my team, like everybody.
Based on that, Shannon, what are 1 or 2 things that we need to be watching for on the Redbirds this year?
I feel like we're going to be a force to be reckoned with. I really like this team, and there's so many people on this team. Like you and I were talking about Elise earlier. Elise and Addie, like playing with them is like so amazing. Like they're like kind of old and I'm still kind of young. So like they really got this mindset where it's like we have to win. Like in practice, you'll constantly hear Addie like talking and like hyping her team up. And she's like, we can't lose. Like we got to do this. And she's always the voice that you hear. You like, she calls out, she talks on defense. She's the loudest one on the floor. Like Elise, she really runs the offense. I don't play too much with Maya in practice these days. So Elise, she really like pushes the pace. She makes the right reads. She can score. You have to stop her or she's making the next pass. It's like we just have so many good people on our team this year, and I feel like we're going to be really good.
It's so great. It's so great to see you. It's so great to learn about the intangibles and the non-stat things that don't show up on a stat sheet that the Illinois State Redbirds are working on to get better at every day. Thank you so much, Shannon, for being with us.
Thank you.